Welcome back to the Deep Dive, where we tear through the research and give you the knowledge you need fast.
Today, we are strapping in for a serious reality check.
We really are. We're diving into digital entrepreneurship, but not the glossy version you see on social media.
No, not at all. We're talking about the actual gritty reality of launching and, maybe more importantly, sustaining a business online.
Our mission today is pretty straightforward. We want to unpack the truth about what success looks like in a market that isn't just competitive. It is, profoundly saturated.
You have to look at the context we're all operating in.
Exactly. The digital economy right now is this behemoth. It's clocking in at over 16 trillion US dollars.
It's 16 trillion. That's 15% of global GDP.
So if you launch a course or an ebook today, you're basically one tiny boat in this enormous, churning $16 trillion sea.
And that scale, it immediately sets up the central tension we need to talk about.
Which is?
Well, the internet constantly pushes this seductive myth of passive income.
Ah, yes. The dream.
The idea that you do the work once, and then the money just effortlessly streams in forever. But our source material today, the journey of Luiz Valério P. Trindade, it just cuts right through that fantasy.
So this deep dive is really about understanding his perspective. He advocates for things like resilience, authenticity, and the quiet power of staying true to one's voice.
Exactly. We're recalibrating expectations. We're moving past the easy fantasy to understand the sheer volume of effort, the sweat, the years of trial and error that are hidden beneath all those viral success stories.
Right. We're going to show you that the success you see online often requires more active, varied, and frankly grueling work than a traditional job, especially in those first few years. Okay, so let's unpack the author's personal journey, because his starting point wasn't that typical siren song of digital wealth.
Not at all. He wasn't chasing a six-figure dream or, trying to retire early.
So what was it? He made the leap after a period of lockdown, right? A lot of introspection.
Yes, and he felt this genuine compulsion to just share his expertise, his deep academic background, and his professional experience.
And that motivation, that meaning over money approach, it really shaped the entire path he took.
It absolutely did. And what followed was emphatically not a story of viral fame. It was slow. It was deliberate growth.
Which is a crucial distinction for anyone listening who's thinking about this. Starting with meaning sets a realistic tone, but it doesn't solve that core problem of getting seen.
No, it doesn't. And that initial phase, for him, required massive experimentation.
I was stunned when I read the list of platforms he explored. He mentions Testing Teachable, Thinkific, Wattbooba, Hotmart, Etsy. The list just goes on and on.
Smashwords, LearnWordsSystem.io, Apple iBooks, CyberU.
So why so many? Isn't the common advice to just pick the biggest one and focus all your energy there?
That's what you hear. But this deep dive shows why that trial and error is so essential. If you have a niche product, the biggest platform might just drown you out or take too big of a cut.
So it was a distillation process.
A huge one. And what's fascinating is where he landed. After all that work, he stuck to just 4 platforms that were right for his specific goals: Amazon KDP, Gumroad, PayHip, and Udemy.
Okay, so why those 4? What was the strategy there?
Well, look at the balance. You've got Udemy, which is great for mass enrollment for building a brand, even if the margins are pretty low.
Okay, that's for reach.
Right. Then Amazon KDP is, the undisputed king for books. But then you have Gumroad and PayHip.
And those give you more control.
Maximum control. Over pricing, marketing, the direct relationship with the customer. So it's a strategic choice.
Yeah.
Use the high-reach channels for visibility, but keep the high-margin channels for financial sustainability.
And after all that deliberate multi-platform work, what did it yield? He calls it modest but meaningful success.
He does. He puts numbers on it. 18 online courses, almost 10,000 enrolled students.
27 print-on-demand books, and 10 ebooks with over 1,500 downloads.
Now, those are not headline-grabbing numbers, right?
Right.
Especially when you think about the time investment.
Not at all.
But they're critical because he redefines success itself. He sees those numbers as real people engaged with my work.
So the priority shifts completely. It's not about fast, high turnover.
It's about genuine engagement, that meaning. That was the true measure of success he was after.
Which brings us to the core finding here, dismantling the myth. The author flat out calls the idea that digital entrepreneurship is a shortcut to effortless wealth, one of the most misleading narratives out there.
Oh, it is. And that narrative, which is often pushed by influencers, is that you can just launch a single course, set up a quick sales funnel, and then magically sit back and relax.
Yeah, the passive income dream.
And they conveniently ignore, or just rarely disclose, all the immense non-passive work that underpins the whole operation.
Okay, let's slow down here because this is the real meat of it, the labor. When you look at the total workload, it takes time, energy, and a frankly terrifyingly diverse skill set.
It's huge. Just think about the intellectual work alone before you even press record. It starts with choosing topics strategically. Then you have to do intensive background research.
Which is already a full-time job for a writer.
Exactly. Then the actual writing, the editing, the constant content revision.
And that's only half of it. Once the content is ready, you switch into production mode.
Right. Now you're a scriptwriter. You're recording high-quality videos, which means you need to know about lighting, audio, performance.
And then you become a graphic designer, creating attractive book covers and all the related marketing materials.
So wait, I have to be a researcher, a writer, an expert, a scriptwriter, a videographer, a designer, and a project manager.
Pretty much. It's like asking one person to run a small production studio all by themselves.
And that's why his conclusion is so inescapable. He says there are no shortcuts, but rather several layers of effort and sweat.
It's an active venture. It requires continuous input just to stay relevant, to update content, to keep the engine running. It's the very definition of active work.
Yeah.
This intense commitment to creation leads us right into the great content dilemma that the author had to face.
The big one.
Should I create content that aligns with market trends, the hot sellers, or should I focus on what I deeply know and am actually passionate about?
And he notes the financial pull of those trends. Topics like AI, advanced Excel, Photoshop, programming languages.
They are guaranteed to get attention, and often a lot of sales. That's the loud commercial side talking.
But he prioritized authenticity. And his rationale, I think, is brilliant. He realized that to speak convincingly, you need more than just knowledge. You need deep, established credibility.
Right. He says he cannot, in good faith, present myself as an expert on every fashionable topic just because it's getting clicks.
That's a really tough stand to take, though. If you ignore the AI trend because it's not your field, you're potentially leaving a lot of money on the table.
So is that just rationalizing modest success? I mean, why wouldn't you just chase the money that's right there?
Because the long-term cost of chasing those trends is trust.
Ah.
When the subject aligns with his genuine background, his voice carries more weight. That deep understanding fosters trust. And trust, he says, is the backbone of any meaningful relationship with an audience.
So if you sell a generic AI course just for the money, you risk jeopardizing all your future relationships with that audience.
Precisely. And that's why this analogy he uses resonates so well. He says building a digital business is less like planting a money tree.
Which implies quick, magical growth.
And more like cultivating a garden. Slow, seasonal, and deeply personal. You nurture what you genuinely know, and you understand it will take time to grow.
So small digital entrepreneurs are just constantly stuck navigating that conflict. Creative integrity on one side, commercial feasibility on the other. It's a true business tightrope walk.
Okay, we've established the effort, the emotional dilemma. Now let's shift from the product itself to the harsh realities of the market. Right, because even if you solve that tightrope walk and create a fantastic product, success is still not guaranteed.
Not even close. The source is very clear on this. Visibility is the actual key factor.
The problem is that the internet is just saturated with high-quality stuff. You can have the best ebook on the planet, but if you don't have a following, it'll never reach its audience.
Which demands marketing expertise, what he calls strategic amplification.
Exactly. So what does that actually mean? We hear these terms all the time, but what concrete skills are we talking about?
Well, you have to master several highly specialized fields. You need to understand SEO, search engine optimization.
How to structure your content so Google or Amazon actually shows it to people.
Then you have to grasp algorithmic engagement, which means figuring out how platforms like YouTube or Instagram decide what to promote.
And optimizing everything you do based on their internal secret rules.
And then the financial infrastructure comes in, right? Things like sales funnels and landing page design.
Absolutely. A sales funnel is that whole automated process of moving someone from just being aware of you to actually buying something.
It's your digital storefront and your checkout all in one.
It is. And the landing page has to be compelling enough to convert that click into a sale. And then finally, if you really want to scale, you have to master paid advertising.
The consequence for the small entrepreneur here is just crystal clear. If you lack the deep technical expertise in all of this, or you don't have the money for big ad campaigns,
Your growth is doomed to be slow and completely unpredictable. It's a massive, multifaceted barrier to just getting seen.
So we've covered the overwhelming non-passive effort, the credibility tightrope, and the high-tech marketing barrier, which brings us to the key question the author asks us, and asks you, the listener, should I still try?
And the honest answer, grounded in all this reality, is absolutely yes. But you have to do it with your feet firmly on the ground. It is essential to ditch the fantasies and just recalibrate your expectations.
Which means you have to acknowledge that the success stories you read about, that constant six-figure turnover, they're almost always the result of years of hard work, experimentation, and painful learning.
They're the exception, not the rule.
It's also so important to apply discernment and a healthy dose of skepticism when you see these success stories online.
Yes. The author notes that some of them might be artificially embellished. They're crafted specifically to sell you a dream or their course.
Yeah.
You always have to question the motive.
So the takeaway philosophy is this. Digital entrepreneurship is way too romanticized.
Far too much.
Beneath that glossy, passive surface is a reality that demands immense patience, specific skills, and a restless commitment to your craft.
It's a journey that will constantly test your resilience. You'll have moments of doubt, of invisibility, of just questioning whether all the effort is even worth it.
But if you proceed with integrity, if you prioritize value over just going viral, and you stay grounded in what's realistic,
What you build, even if it's modest in financial terms, will carry true meaning. And meaning, as we've learned, is that quiet kind of success worth pursuing.
that's a perfect synthesis of this whole deep dive. The final action points from the source are clear. If you're considering this path, start small.
Stay true to your goals and your values.
And build something that matters to you and, crucially, to other people.
So let's leave you with this one final thought to mull over. The author defined his success not by income reports, but by real people engaged.
So if you were to start a digital venture today, knowing all the massive non-passive effort it requires, what would your non-financial measure of success be?
Is meaning truly the quiet kind of success worth pursuing in a world that only seems to chase noise?
Something to think about as you navigate your own journey beyond the myth of easy income. We'll catch you next time for the deep dive.